All right, I think we got the audio issue figured out now. I bought a couple of mics just in case, so if this one goes down, I got another one. Um, so there's quite a few charts that y'all wanted to look at, and I meant to get this to you before the trading week started, but it just didn't happen. But we can still go over the charts, but a lot of these levels, keep in mind, they probably have changed quite a bit. Some of them are probably still the same, but for some of these stocks that have moved quite a bit, it's probably changed. But we can still look at the charts. So FTAI, you can see it's pretty extended for one, but it did make a move this week up to the target area. So you would expect some profit taking at this level. It looks good. I mean, even though the market corrected quite a bit today, um, it's still kind of finished towards the top of its daily high. So I would stick with it. Look to see if momentum can break it out of this kind of flag pattern. And if it's able to, it should have quite a bit of room to run. Um, but yeah, just keep an eye on it. Fly. So Fly is a relatively recently IPO'd stock in 2025. So there's not a whole lot of data to go off of, but it did have this kind of trending pattern higher. Um, it's breaking down. I mean, you could see that it's breaking down the support level. It kind of had this blow off top, wasn't able to sustain price this high, and just completely took back this move. And now it's looking for lower prices. So I would look at 2220 as the next area of support. See if it can hold. Nvidia. Nvidia is notorious for having these type of topping patterns. You can kind of see this kind of head and shoulders reversal type of pattern. And it looked like it was going to break this neckline. I was actually bearish on this stock. I took a um, position here with some puts, expecting the neckline to break and then us to come down to this 150 area. And I showed a friend this chart before it actually broke, and he thought it was a bear trap. And he thought it because one, it didn't break down as before. Two, he didn't think the AI story was over, and and other characteristics. The volume didn't show characteristics of a stock rolling over. These candles are not indicative of a stock ready to explore lower prices. So at any rate, he was right. I got in before the break, anticipating the break. I was going to add, I didn't. Thankfully, I didn't. And all these bears were wrong because the price took back not only this level, but once it was able to get over this right shoulder, it invalidated this entire pattern, and it basically just squeezed shorts up to higher prices. So it's putting in again this kind of topping pattern, which I won't get fooled twice on this. I'm not going to be bearish on Nvidia. At this point, Nvidia is kind of the centerpiece of the AI story. If it has its hands in a lot of different companies, they've been known to give money to certain startup companies and even companies that are well funded, but they'll give them billions of dollars to buy their chips, and then Nvidia will count it as additional revenue, even though the money came from them. So there's a lot of bears out there that are saying this is nothing but a shell game. This is tricky finance. They're just shuffling money back to themselves. Whatever the case may be, at this point, I believe Nvidia is somewhere around 8% of the S&P, and the whole AI story is about 75% of GDP. At this point, Nvidia is too big to fail. If Nvidia fails, the economy will fail. Um, I don't think the AI story is quite nearly done. You got Google increasing capex for AI. Meta came out a couple of earnings ago and said that they weren't going to increase their capex anymore, that they had peaked. They're going to take that back, and they're going to go ahead and increase their capex. Amazon is doing something like 220 billion this year. Microsoft is going to increase their capex. It's basically a race, and they're all going to increase until they're able to acquire all the things that they want to get. But for NVIDIA, it just can't fail. So I think that there's going to be some other companies that would falter before them, and then they would kind of be the last ones to end the AI story. But um, I just would not count on them. The price collapsing. I know it took back quite a bit of yesterday's gains from today, but it wouldn't surprise me if they put in another kind of head and shoulder type of pattern, squeeze the shorts again for much higher prices. So um, it ran out of steam. It could not keep price above this target, and it looks like it wants to come back down to this kind of shelf area where it had support before the next leg up, and now it's just returning back to confirm that support area. Vago. So Vago came out at earnings and price just collapsed. Um, it hasn't capitulated, it doesn't appear. Although this was a kind of capitulation type of candle, it doesn't appear to have capitulated yet because it's still exploring lower prices. This area, the blue box that I have here, is supposed to be the buy the dip area, but it looks like there was really no calls today that were willing to buy it back up. And that's what kind of was watching. I took a position in Avago yesterday, I believe, and I was expecting it to continue this kind of bounce up above the trigger and then try to challenge to start filling the gap. But it completely collapsed. So I got out today. Um, it looks like it wants to explore lower prices, and it's unfortunate, but it's their software, a component of their business that's being hit. It's not their hardware component, because they're still a major part of the AI story. And at some point, I think that that will get recognized and they'll get a higher valuation. But it just bears are really in control of the stock right now. I think this is the LiDAR company. See here. Um, so what I tend to do is I like to use the weekly to look for patterns, and then I use the daily to see where setups could happen, and then I use the 4 hour to determine breakouts, entries, exits, and stuff like that. But in terms of Maven or Microvision, it was a lottery ticket that did not play out, and it's just look. This stock is going to get delisted. It's below $1, well below $1. I mean, I'm sure they can do some kind of reverse split and massively dilute everybody so they can bring the price up. But it's a lottery ticket that just didn't play out, and so there's really nothing else to say. It's gonna challenge the support, and the next level is all the way down at 15 cents. So I would, I mean, if you have anything left, if it were me, I would exit. There's nothing here. So it's interesting to see how it's going to be traded with the whole SpaceX IPO. And it was trading fairly well on Friday, and that it got up over this kind of trigger area, and it looked like it was going to squeeze higher up to the target area, but it just completely collapsed today. It bounced a little towards the end of the day, but um, it came pretty close to support, and this could have just been a bounce on support area, but It doesn't look like it looks like it's going to ready to roll over. So I'd watch this area, um, 90 to 392.5 to see if there's people that are going to come in and buy it back up. If not, um, this could be a shorting opportunity because it's going to drop out of a range, this range up here. And if it drops out of this range, it's going to test these lows down here. So support right there. Next one come probably down here. So 341. Now, there is some possibility that this Tesla may be included with SpaceX, but I would not trade based on that. I typically do not trade on fundamentals. I don't trade on stories. I don't trade on any kind of sentimental events and stuff like that. I really try to focus on the chart. And is the chart telling me to enter or to exit? Is there a setup? That's my edge. I look at the chart. I look at options chain to see where people are placing their bets, and that's it. To me, the chart tells me everything. You could have strong fundamentals, like we're going to see in a minute with Adobe. Not only did they have a double beat on their earnings, but they raised guidance, and the stock still got hit. So to me, I do not trade on fundamentals. If a stock has good fundamentals, it'll reflect in the chart eventually, and I will pick it up if it's on my watch list. So I don't wait for the market to realize it's wrong. I trade along with the market. It's another thing. I don't trade on earnings. I try to get out of a stock before earnings. I try not to enter a stock before earnings. And if I'm in one, I may consider lowering the position, maybe buying, maybe hedging the position a bit, or just getting out completely. I do not like to hold over earnings because it's such a crap shot for me. I haven't done well holding over earnings. So let's see, what's the next one? Oh, so the next one's Adobe. So Adobe was interesting in that I took a position because I guess it's a part of the whole SaaS apocalypse. And to be honest, if I had to pick one stock that AI would kill, it would be Adobe. Um, I can't tell you how many people I've come across that don't use Adobe anymore. They just sign up to use one of the LLMs to create their media or to help with their branding or analysis or anything like that, images and PDFs, all that kind of stuff. It's going to eat into their customer growth for sure. There's no doubt about that. But the question is all of this selling overdone? And it's gotten hit. Maybe it's a good, at some point it becomes a value stock, or maybe it's just a value trap. I don't know. But uh, it on this inverse head and shoulders, thinking that we were going to get a break above out of here. And all the inverse head and shoulder pattern is just a transition of control from sellers to buyers. So in essence, sellers are trying to push the price down. They're able to push it to a point in which either it becomes attractive to buyers or they're not willing to sell anymore and they start taking some profits. At any rate, it gets pushed back up. Price gets pushed back up. Bulls will bring it back up to the point at which sellers will re-enter the picture and try to push it back down. Now, in this case, they weren't able to push it down past this previous price. So this support area, it becomes stronger. Um, Again, pushed it up to the same area where they try to break it out, and bears came back in and pushed it back down. Again, they're not able to push it down to this level
this support becomes even stronger. And again, I took a position right here thinking we were going to get a breakout on this third try. We did. It completely collapsed. I got out. I think I lost like $300 on it or something like that. At any rate, it swung again and broke out, but just wasn't able to sustain price out of this breakout. Um, and it came down and it broke the strong support. So that's a huge red flag right there. That support broke, because now it's going to go into price discovery, and you're not sure where the bottom's going to be. So you can either bottom pick, which I hate doing. I'm not a fan of. Um, you can just wait for it to settle down, maybe fill the gap, maybe show some strength, come back into a range, and then buy the breakout. A stock like this that's been beaten down, if you are correct in that it's some kind of um, it's become a value play, you have so much room to collect profits and make money off of it. There is no sense in trying to pick a bottom. Now, it is showing some strength. You might have had some capitulation here. It looks as if there were some buyers that kind of just were waiting for it to come down this low and bought it back up. The market did all day today. It remained up, and it's up in after hours slightly. If it's able to get above this trigger area at 208, um, it could squeeze and fill this gap. This is just a measured move from this area, but if it's able to fill the gap, that's a sign of strength. If it's able to get back above resistance, which was used to be strong support, um, it's a show of strength. And then, you'll look for it to hit the top of the range and then break out finally overall this kind of resistance that's been forming. So it has its work cut out for it, but you wait for it to show some strength before. If it rolls over, the next targets are 192, and then there's a capitulation level at 180. So keep an eye on it, see how it behaves, and trade accordingly. Team. So team looks like it had a blow off top, and it's trying to take most of it back. It found some support at 86.80, but it's just trading back within the range. Um, there's really no play here. There's nothing to do. Even if it gets above this trigger area and gets back to this target, it's still within the range. I would wait for it to break out of this range, maybe even take this target back, and then you got a chance to possibly fill this gap up here. But there's a lot of things it needs to do before it resumes back up. ANET, ANET is again just trading within a range up here. Um, there's not much to say about it. As long as it stays within the range, there's really no play. It's also part of that SaaS apocalypse, and it looks horrible. This chart looks horrible. Played it a couple times and I lost. I kept my loser small. That's one of my main goals. So keep in mind that when I give comments on these stocks, I'm giving it from a perspective of a swing trader. That my number one rule is keep my losses small. If a stock is not playing out like I think it should, I get out. I can always get back in. So I keep those losses small, and I build. I let my winners run, and in some cases, I'll even build up my winners. So as the price is moving up, um, or shares or whatever, I usually try to keep a 7% position if it's shares, and little less than a 3% position if it's options. But I will easily quickly build out a position in a stock and just ride it higher. I did that with Enphase, and Enphase I think might have doubled my account. Um, go back. Enphase was a big winner because I built out that position as it was popping. But now is it's just breaking down, and it's not have this kind of capitulation type of candle, but it's just rolling over, trying to retest these lows that it formed. I would look. I would look for strength. If you want to get back into this stock, I would look for strength. And here are the target areas and the levels it needs to get over in order for it to start showing any kind of strength. Right now, it's just basing. It's had a long fall. It's it had this, somewhat hopeful bounce, but it's just coming back down. There's really nothing to do in now right now. So VEEV is probably just trending. Let me see. So this is one of the stocks that I wanted to show you how to trade ranges. So let's look back at this range. So it IPO'd, it came back down, it had this low, and then it started to just kind of trade within this range up here. And you can kind of split this range into sections, right? And kind of a top half and bottom half. And you see that most of the time it's spent in this top half. And so the chances of it kind of breaking up here were increased because of this is where people are buying, right? This is where the bulls and the bears are fighting it out. And eventually one of them is going to win. And in this case, the bulls broke out the stock. And you can typically what I would do is I would buy a position here, a starter position. It could be a small position. And then you just kind of build it out as it's breaking out. I would buy again on the breakout. And if it did something like this where it tested and then it broke out again, I might add again because that's a sign of strength. I may have added again on this breakout, right? Breakout of all-time highs here. And now I have all this, so my position is down here and I'm just adding a small amount and I'm just building it up. And I may be looking at this as my stop, break even on that last spot, and just let it ride. And this thing could give you kind of generational money if you play it out right. But right now, the stock is trading in this bottom half of this range, and it looks like it wants to test further the bottom end of the range. And so look at 117, 80, and 53 as my levels of support. If you want to be long, wait till it breaks out of range, and then you can increase your odds of it coming up to this target. But for now, there's nothing to do. CCO, okay. Now this is another lottery ticket. Just got to cash out. I mean, you were clearly wrong. I know that at one point I was in the stock too. I think it might have been somewhere in here. Actually, this year. So it was probably somewhere in here. I was anticipating a possible top test of the range up here, and then a breakout, and yeah, and it was a couple of weeks, I want to say, before the earnings, and I held through earnings because the CEO said that they were going to show profitability in their next earnings. And he pulled a Marcus Lemonis, what Marcus Lemonis did with Overstock. He said they were going to be profitable and then took it back at the next earnings call and said, oh, it's all on me. You can just blame me. And I don't know how people get away with that. But the CEO in this case was wrong too. And they got punished for it. And it's been, I mean, there's not any bulls in here pushing it back up or testing any of the top of the range. So it looks like it wants to roll over again and come back down. I got $14 and $12.37 as targets. So understand that there are maybe some strong fundamentals in this stock that if they play out, then there's a bullish thesis there. But but the chart's going to tell you when that bullish thesis, when the market starts recognizing that bullish thesis, and just wait then, wait for it to break out and show some kind of setup that you can get in, and you've increased the odds in your favor because you know those fundamentals. But I like to trade off of the chart, and right now the market is saying that don't buy this stock. It's not going anywhere except down. So fossil is consolidating um, up in this range to hopefully eventually get back up to the top of the range and start um, targeting these levels up here. It's this is a buy and hold stock basically. Um, Buy it and you put it in your long term portfolio and you check it once or twice a year. Maybe put some alerts on it on the trend lines and see, hey, if it hits a trend line, I'll look at it and I'll maybe adjust my position or whatever. But it's just a buy and hold stock. It looks good. It's neutral right now. So Bitcoin, um, put in the chat last week that I thought we might have seen a bottom in Bitcoin because it had this strong reversal candle, and it didn't want to be down in this lower area. It kind of gave a bit of a fake out with this kind of head and shoulders type of pattern, and it didn't want to break. It didn't want to break down further, which suggests that, hey, it could do what NVIDIA did. And if it gets above this right shoulder, it's off to the races. So keep my eye on this because if it is able to even capture a significant part of this range, it could take quite a few other Bitcoin proxies with it. We'll see later that the miners aren't really trading along with Bitcoin. But I think if Bitcoin gets going, it could be an extra boost to those companies. So we'll keep an eye on it. It looks as if the may have ended, but we'll see. It's not coming down with too much velocity, so it just might be stalling for the move. Ethereum. So Ethereum has been looking good for a while. You know, it didn't break down like Bitcoin. It's just kind of trading within this range. It was putting in these higher lows, which I think, yeah. I mean, it's back above this kind of flag pattern, but it looks neutral right now. It could move. If Bitcoin decides to move, it's going to move with it. It's going to take it higher. But this is kind of relatively bullish in that it just hasn't broke down completely. Now, if it breaks down below this neckline area, or this 1500, it's most likely coming down to 1377. And if that doesn't hold, then it'll come down to below 1,000. Um, I don't think that's going to happen, but who knows? It doesn't show that it's wanting to break down. It shows that it wants to stay within this kind of consolidated pattern. How long that goes, who knows? Bit digital. So Bit digital broke down, and then it quickly came back into this range. And if you put on lower time frame, it's kind of reversal type of pattern, which is nice. Doesn't appear that it's, well, maybe it is. It's kind of trading along with Ethereum in that it's consolidating. It's just staying within this consolidation range. It hasn't rolled over. I mean, it tried to roll over here, but it quickly got back up into this range. Um, it's going to go the way of Ethereum. There's nothing to see there. Yeah, it's just going the way of Ethereum. I would just keep an eye on Ethereum. Hopefully, Ethereum can test the top of the range, and if this thing breaks above 226, it'll move higher. there's so much space up here that it can go before it hits the top of the range. So Vi or Veolia is this is a buy and hold stock. This is something, again, you buy, you put it in your long-term portfolio, and when taxes come around, it's just grinding higher. You don't want to look at this from day to day or even week to week, because you see something like that, you're going to jump out. But it's just been in the steady range, and it took back that fall completely. It's just grinding higher. Yeah, just hold it. CARR, same thing, exact same thing. Buy and hold. This is not something I would. Again, I'm a swing trader, so this is not something I would trade. But you just buy it and stick it with those other stocks that we look. Blue is going nowhere. It's just within this range. Um, you can trade the top and bottom of the range, not a move, but I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do anything in this stock until it breaks out of range. Now, keep in mind, it's been trading in somewhat in a range for a very long time. So when it breaks out, it's going to be significant. So I would just wait till then. Maybe there's some other opportunity in another stock that you put your money in, and then maybe that other stock hits, and then you have some extra money to, when flu breaks out, you can even more higher gains. So I wouldn't do anything now in this. C7. So Sub-C7, this was a great stock to be in towards the beginning of the year. It put in this nice inverse head and shoulder pattern. It broke the neckline, came back down. I think I might have gotten in here. It was either towards the end of last year or the beginning of the year. Maybe it was the beginning of the year. And I rode quite a bit of this. I think I might have gotten out up here thinking it was going to roll back over and touch the range. But yeah, it's hit its targets. It's consolidating within this range up here. And when it breaks out, it's going to hit this target, $400. So as long as it stays above, to say 297, I would stay in it, expecting it to come up to $400. The cost is rolling over. It's testing the support. Um, for people, look for bulls to come in and see if they want to buy it back up. If they buy it back up, then it's going to stay within the range, and you look for it to gain some momentum to the top of the range and hopefully break out. But right now it's testing the bottom, and if it breaks, it's going to come down to $1.70. So there's really not much to do except just watch it right now. So new is interesting in a sense that, first of all, it's bearish. This is a bearish stock. It's just trending down. But the interesting thing about new is, first of all, okay, it may close this gap before it returns down, but it's in this area above the trigger. Maybe it gets pushed by the dealer up to the target area of $13, but I would look for it to roll over. And the option market is expecting that, because there was a large amount of puts that were in the money that have now moved out, and now there's a large amount of puts that are out of the money at much lower prices. And you want to look for this kind of behavior, and it gives you an idea that yes, this thing is going to continue going down, but it's not going to roll over significantly, because now all these people down here, as the price is coming down, are going to buffer it. They're not going to let it just fall out of bed. they're going to continue to monetize their puts as it's coming closer into the money. And then, heck, they may just, come back down again and just continue to play it that way. But I would expect the stock to roll over when it hits the target or fills the gap. Um, and um, could be very interesting, but I would need to see a basing pattern first, and there's no basing pattern here. It made a new low, it came back up, filled the gap, and it could do the same thing, right? So it's bearish. Look for a slow grind down. So Moss is interesting in that I thought it was going to be a play on the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, but it wasn't. So I put in this nice cup and handle pattern. I believe I bought on this breakout right here, expecting to go up to $39, $40, and it just completely rolled over, and I got out. And it's just been punished ever since. Um, it's in an area where you expect people to be waiting to buy it, and so I'm not seeing that behavior yet. There was some buying here, and most of this occurred towards the end of the day, and that's mostly retail people. That's not institutional. You want institutional people to come in and push it back up, but yeah, you need to see some buying tomorrow. If it breaks this blue area, what's the bottom of this range? Yeah, if it breaks 2150, get out. It's gonna fill this gap. It's gonna come back down to it may come down to the bottom of this wedge pattern. Um, needs to show strength. It's not showing that yet, so look for that tomorrow. C is just rolling over. It's been trending up. Happened here where it just kind of fell out of bed. Looks like it wants to roll over more. Yeah, there's nothing that says it can't test the bottom of this. I mean, I guess you have that down there. It's like it wants to either consolidate or for another move lower, or just wants to come back down and test these lows. So look for more selling in this stock. Novo. So Novo overall is just an ugly stock. It's bearish. I mean, you could see that it's been bearish for quite some time. Still has more room to go to the downside if it wants to. Um, strength would be a bounce on the support, come back up to the trigger area, get above that, we get above this downtrend line. It peaked above it, and then it was a look above and fail, and then to see if it can get above this trigger area at 45. If it's able to get above this swing high here at about 46, it's going to test this other swing high here, and then it may test the top of the range, but it looks like it just wants to roll over. That's just nothing to do until it breaks out. Cliff is ugly. It could not even get near this top of the range, and it just rolled over. It broke out. Yeah, this was support. It support came back up, and then it's just rolling over and it's going to break this. This is weak support, and most likely come back down to this level, $10, which is strong support, or maybe it just may meander in this dead space here, but Um, I would look for it to, first of all, it needs to retake the 1354, and then it needs to retake this swing high up here. If it retakes that swing high, that's a very strong sign. Let's see here. Um, also that, I'll get an alert and I'll watch it, but and it may still continue, but we'll look to see if it can break this level, and then it has higher targets. Samar just breaking down. Do Euro stuck in a pattern. Has these higher lows, but it's really, it has this top that it needs to overcome, but it's just range bound. Hymns, this actually looks pretty good. To just continue this trend higher, and it broke above this level, which is nice. I'd have to look to see what other target areas there are. I'm sure this trigger zone has moved up. I would think it's maybe somewhere around there. Hold on one second. Let me look it up real quick. Sure where this trigger area is for the next one, but it's showing that 35 is the next target. So next week, I'd watch that area, see if it can get up to that next area. It looks really bullish. It looks really nice. Eastman. So Eastman is another chemical company like Mars that was hoping to take advantage of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, but it's just been in this pattern. The year hasn't really done anything. Look for it to break out of this pattern and then trade it accordingly. But right now it's just neutral. There's really nothing to do. I'm really interested in the miners, and I took quite a few positions in the miners. And it looks as if they kind of just consolidated up here. I gotta update all these levels. It's definitely a close today. CIFR just completely reversed. This area was a monetization zone for them, or maybe Keel's just consolidating. About Keel looks really nice on the weekly. Yeah, it's just testing this area up here. It breaks out. It's going to be a nice breakout. Let's see here. A nice area breakout, and probably then test this next area at 933. Nice levels right there. 28. I really like this stock. It looks really nice. RIOT looks also good. Um, do anything today except reverse. Just consolidates up here. It's broken out. Um, just watch it. Hive, BTDR, just trading in range. Yeah, So that's that. Lastly, let me look at the S&P. So the S&P rolled over today. Started from the opening, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, in the opening. Well, it bounced up to this level. So I had a target up here from yesterday at 75, 74, 65, and that was clearly resistance. Towards the end of the day, I bought some puts to see because it may close this gap up here. See what it does at this level from the June 5th target. It got hit, but I like to keep these levels on my chart just to see where because sometimes they can be support and resistance. So I want to see what happens if it's able to come down here to the gap. This wasn't really I mean, in the bigger picture, what was it? Even well, it was a 0.5% move down. That's not a lot of strength by the bulls. I mean, the bears. It's back in the, so, I mean, in all honesty, it would be good to see it come back down, fill it, and then bounce back up. That would be really nice. But I was looking at the bigger picture chart, and if we look at the monthly, take all this stuff off. Bullish candle right there on the monthly. Stays that way. But this thing is just to explode. I mean, you have this kind of acceleration and it accelerates even higher. It accelerates even more, comes back down. All these dips were just opportunities to buy, and they didn't last very long. Uh, and now it's just kind of going straight up. It looks like it wants to be a blow off top. And so I want to be in the market in some way, but I want to definitely be in the market because I think we're going to get some kind of blow off top on this. But yeah, let's just keep it at that. Now that the mic is working, maybe we'll do I'll do some more videos. Maybe I'll do another video over the weekend. We'll see. But yeah, okay, I'll leave it there. Thanks.